My name is Master Gunnery Sgt. Mike Ressler. I joined the United States Marine Band on July 29th, 1974. It has really been a dream to have served with the President's Own. It was a dream. Marines use the phrase, "I'm living the dream, I'm living my dream." And I can truly say that I have lived my dream. I think the first time that I became aware of the Marine Band was in November of 1963 when President John F. Kennedy was assassinated. I was a sixth grader, and I remember I was sick, home, and watching the television, just glued to the TV, watching the state funeral on that Monday. And that's the first time I really ever heard of or heard the United States Marine Band, and of course heard them play at the graveside for the funeral at Arlington. And it was an incredibly beautiful sound, and just something that really impressed me, and that memory has stayed with me to today. I remember that I auditioned for the band on June 6th, 1974, and it was for a euphonium position, an opening in the euphonium section. About 2 weeks later, approximately, I received word that I had come in second in that audition, but they were interested in talking to me about joining the team of music librarians, because I had a good bit of music library experience and a fair amount of experience behind the scenes with bands. And so I would be they thought I'd be well prepared. So I traveled to Washington and had an interview with the librarians, and they were very positive, and I liked the job, and so they offered, and I accepted a position working in the music library. So I actually joined the band as a music librarian. About, 6 or 8 weeks after I reported to the band, there was yet another opening in the euphonium section. So I was moved from the library to the euphonium section. So I played euphonium from about September of 1974 until June or July of 1978. As I look back now on 39 years, there are a lot of highlights, moments that stand out. And I don't know that I can pick one in particular. I think every inaugural stands out in a Marine Band member's mind. My first inaugural was for President Jimmy Carter. It was on the east front of the Capitol, and that was the last one, the last inaugural to be held on the east side. Cold day, cold and clear, and I remember shivering. I don't know if it was from nervousness or from being frozen, or maybe it was a combination of the two. So that was my first inaugural. The second one was quite different. It was on the west front of the Capitol. It was a warm day, about 55 degrees, so warm that we didn't even wear our overcoats, and that was for President Ronald Reagan. So really quite a different experience for an inaugural. I think all the inaugurals are amazing and interesting. My current role as band historian really started in 2008 when Colonel Michael Colburn asked me to step aside as the chief music librarian and take on this new position and just focus fully and totally on our history, doing some additional research, writing, organizing information, training the staff in the library to be aware of our history so that they can help researchers and help the directors with historical questions. Prior to that, I had been working with the band's history, really dating back to when I joined in 1974. The library was the holding place for the historical things, material history and information about the Marine Band. And so we were always, as music librarians, we were always working with the band's history, 1982, we established a formal relationship with the National Museum of the Marine Corps when we accepted the John Philip Sousa collection. And then I know that I started attending weekly meetings with Marine Corps Museum staff. And so gradually over time, the amount of time that I was spending with history and as working as a historian increased until it became 100% in 2008. Since 2008, we've discovered a number of interesting things about the Marine Band, about our history that we didn't know. One of the most exciting discoveries was a photograph, actually, of President Abraham Lincoln's first inaugural, 1861. We had seen kind of a bad copy of that photograph before, kind of blurry and not very clear, hard to see, and we just couldn't find the band. We looked everywhere where we thought the band would be. Traditionally, the band is right in front of the presidential inaugural stand. And so we were looking there and looking around in different places and using a magnifying glass trying to find the Marine Band in the photograph. We couldn't find it. And then Gunnery Sergeant Kira Wharton, the assistant chief librarian and my assistant working as assistant historian, found a newspaper article. I think it was the New York Times. And the newspaper article was giving a description of the inaugural and a description of the inaugural stand. And it said the president was standing in the center of the platform, and to his left was the diplomatic corps, resplendent in their uniforms, and then just beyond them was the United States Marine Band. So we went back to this photograph and looked more carefully with a bigger magnifying glass, and we could just barely see the instruments. So we found the band in a photograph. Then we got a computer-enhanced version of that same photograph, and the band was clear. The band, you can make out the over-the-shoulder tenor horns and over-the-shoulder bass instruments, and you can see a trombone slide, and you can just make out the iconic uniform of the band at the time. Of course, it's black and white, not color, but you can still tell that that's the Marine Band uniform. So that was an exciting find that we made since 2008. My love for the Marine Band and the Marine Corps existed a long time before I joined the Marine Band, and it won't end when I leave the Marine Band. So I look forward to an ongoing relationship with the band after I retire.